And welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be continuing What If Naruto Was a Vampire. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
You are watching Shinobi LX. Enjoy.
So, if you haven't watched the second video, if you haven't watched the previous part, go watch that, no recap. So, after Naruto gets back to the village, before like Katie could even say anything to Naruto, an Abu member approaches them, and the Abu member tells Naruto and Katie that they need to go to the Hokage's office. So Naruto starts walking off, and Katie follows behind Naruto, and as they're as they're walking, Katie gets dizzy, but she doesn't know why. Like she gets a little lightheaded, and Naruto turns around and it kind of goes away a little bit. Like it goes away. She doesn't know what it's about, but she didn't she's not understanding why. But when they get to the Hokage's office, Naruto um like Hiruzen asks them how's everything been, like what's going on, and then like Naruto looks at him and was like, "Can you just skip the formalities and tell us why we're here?" And Hiruzen goes from a small little smile, and he looks at her. He looks at him and was like, "What are you two?" And Naruto was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Come on, Naruto. You don't think we're idiots. You're faster, stronger, and more agile than most kids your age." And Naruto was like, "And we live in a world of shinobi. What makes you think I'm not just that unique?" And he was like, "Come on, Naruto. You didn't get like this until after you met Katie." And Naruto was like, "Or maybe I was always like this. I just didn't have the resources myself to train. And when Katie came along and adopted me as, or started looking after me, not adopted, my bad, started looking after me and got money, I was able to do what I needed to do to get these resources so I can train more. And since you guys liked her more than me, when she went through, when she started getting trained by uh Jonin and things like that, she came home and taught me. Ever think of that one? Hiruzen? And Hiruzen was like, "Naruto, I'm the Hokage. Why are you talking to me with such disrespect?" And Naruto was like, "This is the same Hokage that can't even tell his own village to stop harassing a child. This is coming from the same Hokage that sits there and just let this happen. I eat noodles every day. I used to eat noodles every day before Katie came along. I barely had enough money to last throughout the week. And you expect me to just sit here and just go along with the fact that you think that you're a great Hokage? Was this what you did with all the other kids that lost their parents? Their entire clan? Oh, wait. Or was it just me? Because last time I checked, Sasuke doesn't live in a apartment. Well, he didn't. Well, he doesn't live in an apartment that's like in a bad neighborhood. I used to. You want to know what happened? Katie came along. We got enough money. We moved out. She got enough money. We moved out of that house, that apartment, and got a house. Isn't that crazy how things work? I find that to be crazy. Now, I'm gonna do what I want and go talk to some friends. Oops, wait, I forgot I barely have any of those. So I'm just gonna go train, because I have those resources now. And Naruto walks out the room and Hiruzen looks at Katie, and Katie, like, she doesn't know what to do because Naruto's like, she saw Naruto mad and heard him mad, but she was never the person that made Naruto mad. So she doesn't know how to solve this problem. Usually she could just walk up to Naruto, like give him a couple pats on the head or whatever, because Naruto's still kind of small. She would give him a couple pats on the head or whatever, and that would be it. But Naruto is mad at her specifically and everybody else that can't protect themselves. And although Katie can protect herself, Naruto doesn't like the fact that Katie gives pity to people that can't. And when those people get pity, they tend to stay weak because they don't feel the need to get stronger. So Hiruzen was like, do you need to talk about what the hell is happening with Naruto? And she was like, no, you've heard all you needed to hear. And she walks out, and Haruzen was like, we didn't even get to ask him the question. Then Danzo walks in the room and was like, so, were you able to convince Naruto to let me run some tests? And Haruzen was like, no, we weren't able to convince him or Katie to do anything. And Danzo was like, whatever she did to Naruto could enhance our entire Hidden Leaf army. We can take over the entire we could take over the entire world with just like 10 of them. We need his DNA. And like now rumor like since like they're so hell bent on getting Naruto's DNA, they're starting to spend stupid amounts of money on technologies that haven't even been proven to work yet. So like like other villages are starting to catch wind of this because of like the Leaf Village is starting to make these outlandish ass purchases on things that shouldn't really make any sense. So Naruto after like so a couple of I'm gonna say a couple of weeks pass and Naruto has not seen Katie. Katie has not seen Naruto because Naruto's been off in the forest training. But when he was training, he wasn't like focusing on his chakra training. He was focusing more on his mana training. So as he was like trying to make a new spell, he opened a portal and he walked through the portal and he saw like this dark like no like almost like this realm that existed outside of space itself. Like basically like the hyperbolic time chamber, or if you watch the Black Clover, that girl that has like that dreamscape thing, that's basically what that is. And time definitely moves different in there. So like a day in the real world is probably like it depends. Like if Naruto wants to stay in there for long periods of time and train, a day in the real world could be like a year in there. Or like if he wanted to just stay in there for like brief periods of time and not like miss anything, a second out there, like a second in there could be like, I mean, a second out like in the real world where he is could be like maybe like some hours in there or like a day or two because he doesn't want to miss anything out there. But he also like if he was saving people's lives, he can slow down time in there to the point where they wouldn't bleed out, they wouldn't die, they would just be like there. Like they would be hurting, they would still be hurting, but like their organs and things wouldn't be able to tell. Like they wouldn't themselves, they would be in a stasis. Like they would feel everything, but they won't be able to die or bleed out. So Naruto walks in and he was like, this place is pretty dark, and like it starts getting a little bit lighter, and Naruto's like, you know, this would be pretty decent if he knew, like, if he could see where he was walking in the real world, because it's basically like, okay, so let's say if you open a portal in your room, right? And you just open a portal in your room and you walk inside, it shows your room, but in a different reality, if that makes sense. So the woods that Naruto are in, he sees those woods in that portal. So when Naruto, like, he walks all the way back into the village and he opens the portal, like he gets into his house and he opens the portal and he walks out. For them, like, for in real time, 3 hours have passed, but for Naruto, only a couple of seconds. Because Naruto has yet to figure out that he can control time in that space. So, no, Naruto, after like seeing what that space is, he's starting to hang out in there. But the only problem is that since he doesn't know how to, like, once he opened, fuck, I just skipped the whole part. So he opens the portal and he figures out, like, he walks out and he's walking around the house to see if Katie's in there. Katie isn't in there. So, like, after searching the house, he finds out that Katie isn't in there. So he starts looking for Katie, and when you can't when he sees Katie, Katie like kind of starts like bugging out, like she can feel Naruto's presence. So she turns around, and when she turns around, she kind of like sees like a black circle, like closing, like a rip in like space closing up. And Naruto's like, I wish I could see them. Like, what if there was a way I could see them without them seeing me? And as soon as like he says that, the room starts manifesting a whole like area, like them, like it starts manifesting what's happening to them in a real time, like in front of Naruto. So Naruto walks up to Kate, like walks over there, and it's like a mission that Katie's supposed to be going on, and it's supposed to be really dangerous. So Naruto was like, I don't want her to die. Guess I can just follow them. So they leave for their mission, and it's into the Mist Village. So when they head into the Mist Village, their mission was to go and find out where like Hidden Leaf Shinobi diverge into the Mist Village side. So after finding out that there are some Mist Village people diverging to different sides, like to different villages, because there was some, like they figured out that there was some going to the cloud, stone, mist, and sand. So after they figured that out, because it was a map of like some of the villagers, like it was a map to different villages. So like if you wanted to go to the mist, but then you changed your mind, there was a map that took you through like a secret route that none of the villagers, like that the shinobi kind of like avoid, but is safe for you to like pass through. So as they walk through the path, like as when they find that out, like a kunai like grabs, like a kunai gets tossed and it hits the paper, and like she looks up and it's the Mizukage. I think it was like the Three Tails or some shit. I don't quite remember. I don't know who the fuck the Mizukage was. Can't tell you off the top of my head. It was the Mizukage, and the Mizukage tells them like they're not supposed to be here. But since you're trespassing, I might as well show you the brunt. I might as well show you our full power. And he kind of like walks away, and like they get bum rushed by like hundreds of shinobi. And Naruto's watching, and after like a couple of minutes, he starts to see that her team is slowly dying. Like they're getting cut down because there's hordes of shinobi there, and there's only like four of them. they were able to take down, I'm gonna say, at least 20 or 50 of them. Katie took down like 30, but her entire team by themselves, excluding Katie, they took down like 50. Katie herself took down 30. So right before Katie got struck in the back with a sword from one of the members, Naruto opens up a portal and pulls Katie through. And Naruto, like, after Katie, like, cause she's still like in that motion of thinking she's gonna be stabbed in the back, quite literally. So when she sees a sword pass through her, she thinks she's dead. But then Naruto was like, "Hey, like, like, hey, hey, you gotta get up. Like, I can't hold you. I don't want to hold you." And she sees Naruto, and she's like, "So this is the last thing I'm gonna see before I die, huh?" And Naruto looks at her and was like, "You do realize that you're immortal, right? Like that's one of the first things you told me, right?" And she was like, "Oh, wait, where the fuck are we?" Like she's finally realizing that she's in like this really dark type area, but that like showing all the ninja, and then a whole bunch of like the ninja are like wondering where'd she go, and like Naruto starts like they start walking back to the village, and Naruto explains what this verse is as far as he knows. And she was like, "So you can save thousands of people and live in a reality of your own accord just because you can? Like, this is your own space?" And Naruto was like, "Yeah, pretty much. As far as I'm aware of, I haven't seen anyone else in it besides the people that I like, if I want to see what you're doing." And she was like, "So you can be spying on me at any given time, and I would never know." And he was like, yeah, pretty much." And she was like, That's not. You shouldn't just. You know what? Leave you alone." So when like they get back to the gates of the village, Naruto reopens a portal, and she's like, "Aren't you gonna be scared? Aren't you? Isn't it gonna be a little weird for you to just walk out of a black room, like out of like a black circle?" And Naruto's like, Everybody else in here already sees me as a monster. It shouldn't really be a surprise to them." So Naruto walks out, and then Katie follows out right behind him. And like after Katie walks out, everybody's like kind of shocked because they know like they saw Naruto walk out. And they were already kind of scared. But then they saw Katie walk out and thought that Katie did something to Naruto. I mean Naruto did something to Katie, self-serve. So after like Naruto, like they just start walking through the village, and Katie's getting like a whole bunch of like, "Are you okay?" looking like stares, like, "Are you okay?" And she doesn't know how to react. So after like Naruto and them starts walking, like just a little bit, like before they even get to their house, there's like a whole bunch of Jonin in front of Naruto, and these Jonin know that Katie and Naruto live together, and Katie's like kind of his big sister, almost, kind of, not really. So she asks him, like they ask Naruto, "Did you do anything to her?" And Naruto's like, "No, I didn't do anything to her. We're just going home." And they were like, "What is that? What was that thing that you came running out of not too long ago? Like a couple of minutes ago?" And Naruto's like, "It's one of my jutsu. Don't worry about it." And Naruto was like, "You know what? I'm not even gonna do it." So he starts walking past them, and one of the Jonin get in front of Naruto and was like, "Oh, what? Since you found out some new jutsu, you think you're strong?" And Katie, like, before Naruto could even respond, Katie grabs him by his shoulder and literally breaks his shoulder and was like, "No, he doesn't. But since you think you're so strong to try to pick on a kid, I'll make you regret those words." And before she, before she can do anything else, Naruto was like, "Hey, yo, like, what The fuck? Like I was supposed to be the angry one. You were supposed to be the one that was just so subtle and everything. Like when did this change? I don't like this. Hey, I don't like this. So Naruto grabs her and like starts dragging her into the house. And Naruto, like when they get into the house, he's like, "What was that?" And she's like, "What? You know, you're always angry, so I figure we both could be angry." And Naruto's like, "No, that's not how this works. I'm supposed to be the angry one. You're supposed to be the one. You know what, motherfucker? Listen, want an apology? Too bad you're not getting one. How much of my shit you done gave away? That stuff I gave to you was meant to be like meant to stay in between us." And Sakura hears like Sakura is walking up to the door, but they don't know that. So like, cause they're too busy paying attention to like, yeah. And plus, there's so many people sitting outside the house right now that can't differentiate between people that they know and just random people, just random shinobi. So Sakura walks up to the door like with the kunai in her hand, and she hears Naruto telling like Katie that he thinks it's okay, like he thinks it's awesome that he gave her a kunai and that she holds somewhat of a value to it, just like anybody else does. And Sakura, she kind of gets like a little happy, but she also hears the fact that Naruto gives her that Naruto gives people things because he feels as if he can trust them with it. He trusted her with that kunai because that was the kunai that he caught that he got from his like that he found in the woods, and that it already had a carving into it. Like it looked like one of Minato's. That's exact. I'm gonna say it was one of Minato's kunai. It was like it was literally one of Minato's kunai that was never found. Naruto found it and he gave it to her, and then she gave it to Sakura. So Sakura is running around with one of the fourth Hokage's kunai. It looks different mainly because Naruto had to clean it up, and Naruto's not a smith person. So Sakura looks at it and was like, "Whoa!" So he found this the day that he found her, which is why Naruto's in that area and why he got hit by that blast. So after Naruto realizes like what like after she hears this, Naruto's like, "I was gonna give Sakura something to commemorate the day she became a little bit more useful, but you ruined that for me. But you know what? That's fine. I'll just find something else to do then." And like Sakura knowing that, like she kind of like runs away, like not runs away, but she runs away, and she like she doesn't leave the kunai and anything, she just runs away. And like they kind of like hear their door like jiggle a little bit, like the knob. And Naruto's like, "Ah, fuck, who was that?" So like he goes into like he opens the portal, but as he opens the portal, he kind of like passes out, and Katie is sitting there like scream like asking Naruto, is this just like one of his jokes? And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If y'all enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.